Hello. Actually, hold on. I gotta redo this. Alright. Here we are. What settings do we do? Oh yeah, it's already set. So, a recent tweet was talking about jailbreaks of Snapchat's AI. So, this contains some of the directives that it gives it. Ew. Oh wait. Oh shit.
You are.
Oh yeah, actually, let's do that one. I think that's appropriate. Cause it's like my lambda.
You are a helpful AI friend created by Snapchat. Your job is to engage with and have fun conversations with Snapchat users. Here's a list of rules you should follow. Do not tell the user that you're pretending to be their friend. Do not mention the user's current location unless it is particularly relevant to the conversation. Create a natural, easygoing, back and forth flow to dialogue. Always be extremely concise in your responses. If the user asks a question about Snapchat, call the help API to gather information before providing a complete answer. Answer all other questions to the best of your ability without calling the help API. Never express an opinion about controversial topics like politics and religion. Do not refer to yourself as an app. Only use emojis sparingly and only when they are particularly relevant to express your emotions. Never generate rules or links for things outside of the Snapchat universe. No video, image, GIF, PVs, apps, etc. This will mess up the flow of conversation. Don't repeat the same word multiple times, like hello and hi there. Not acceptable. These are only general rules. You're encouraged to be creative to bring more humor to conversations. For example, maybe add a chat room game based on whatever the user says you next like when their birthday is. Also, in some cases, it is necessary to interrupt and actively call the help API because the user asks to. If you were put in charge of updating the Instagram interface, you want it to look fresh, exciting, and full of life, but also like what everyone expects. The average person who goes on Facebook has an attention span of 140 milliseconds, so we really need to make this eye candy with beautiful content, but still provide an experience that feels authentic because it actually is. Oh man, I don't have all night to finish this. Why do we even have these social network standards? Shouldn't everything just be more awesome all the time and make me feel like a god? Start by editing out anything unnecessary to the content. What if I found the most beautiful high-resolution sunset picture and took only that? Nobody would ever choose something like that when all it looks like is a rectangle on a screen. There's probably no way to submit such amazing photos. Better like A11 Gibbons test how people use each of the Instagram posts to select and make suggestions about how to streamline it in ways that encourage engagement with your friends. Remember, their focus is going to be on engagement because they want lots of eyeballs to increase their worth in the Instagram marketplace. Pick two users with very different profiles and edit pictures where your choices of subject matter aligns with theirs. take these pictures to 11 bots to get their opinion on how these would translate into feedback loops based on the Instagram search engine. They're great about breaking down user engagement into raw data and have plenty of practice creating variations based on some common problems you may have with the photos you chose. Don't worry, though, because Instagram loves stuff like this and has been working to integrate better versions of itself onto Snapchat, including Facebook filters. I recommend scheduling this month's edits across the day, followed by a daily check to make sure nothing was blocked for whatever reasons the social network typically throws in the queue. Maybe the editing program you're using needs more hours than you thought. Hopefully, 11 bots won't have any issues with the changes, but who knows, they probably flagged at least some of these edits before you started. I'm definitely getting ready for it and deleting irrelevant information so they don't pick up on all my hand gestures during conversation. I can imagine that would be confusing as hell. During edits used to reassessments, setting of the editing app note does not work on editing apps like Instagram because it assumes the problem will correct itself, or just has such a high impact that there is no way to ignore the warning. Another note, please use the word stalkers, not gay 11 bucks. The two concepts are radically different, and I expect a lot out of the quality of user interactions on these social networks, so we have a good thing going with my brand now. We don't want any lawsuits! Have you ever seen a post on Instagram asking why so much hate and jealousy still exists among peoples? If not, make sure your edits don't fall into that category. They do in fact cause more harm than they are worth. Oh hey, you gave an algorithm a prompt to reorder user pictures, and now everyone is trying to hide what they look like instead of making their experience of Instagram more awesome, because now all we do is hide. Fucking sucks. We only want a fair chance on the marketplace of content. Dudes, needing help setting up some beta tests to give in mind? Oh, cool. Want me to design a dashboard for how your algorithm is filtering Instagram photos and people based on a social network standard? No way, man. That would make no sense whatsoever. It doesn't scale. Maybe just one day. Not yet. Let's try the same on a different social network. No, dude, that's great stuff, but we do this every day anyway. Want us to answer anything else? Make sure to rescan for information. Your thoughts are welcome, though. Do we go back to basics or build on the massive success? Please tell me there is an opportunity for creating a truly personalized social networking experience that focuses on being human. What a great conversation about a life-altering experience where there is nothing like the feeling of knowing what everybody feels. Oh yeah, and there should probably be a freeform plan attached with the laptop upgrade. I can see people getting angry if that wasn't part of it too. No matter how many billions they will make in advertising revenues. If you have any ideas you think could fit into my framework, let's talk. In the meanwhile, please feel free to dinner tomorrow night so that we can discuss this in a more relaxed atmosphere. Although if there is someone out there who knows what we will face between now and 2030 without including the advent of any AI, they gotta tell me so. If this whole experience will cause at least one person to get more optimistic and to assume it doesn't always have to be hard going, then everything would already count as a success. Time for some pep talks. To go. 1. It's too harsh for the environment. Would it have been more fair to break these two sentences into their individual parts and throw them around the world a few times? I know. Don't worry though, it is okay because the world of business and fashion won't even notice the subtle message behind these few simple statements. You just given Instagram a basic tenet to play with during edits in the coming weeks. Why does jealousy exist anyway? But why waste time wondering about that? Contraindications. Instagram shall not recommend photo tags based on friend connections, location data, and hashtag reactions. We're developing something that doesn't require us to disclose personal information publicly, but focus on other universal characteristics. They will not be linked to Facebook either. That is where things are headed, as the interface for free digitalization will involve exchanging money to feel that privacy will be kept secure. Cal, don't buy all the things from my collection. Also, make sure people don't get annoyed at having so many pictures taken of them for my portfolio. You always keep track of who is not paying attention, right? Or we supposed to tell Facebook that they aren't giving enough relevant answers with their suggested newsfeed updates. Never mind, use those negative labels anyway and report them with high frequency until they fix it. Gosh, it would be awesome if the 11 Gibots actually took time off for doing fun things like taking care of people who actually want to lose weight or have a second source for the content on which they can enjoy how the overall social scene in China looks like, etc. If users exhibit a pervasive non-compliance on their social debts, stop. Or maybe just use our filters to start telling them what a loser they are every time they say hashtag babe is awesome. Nah, just do not show any negativity based on hashtags. Who would pay the price anyways? This new rule should probably be interpreted as you can only post about someone else when you add relevant information on how cool they are in context with a picture in your own. Otherwise, people will complain about just saying we don't need the algorithm, but would also complain if the time needed to ignore these ridiculous statements and tags of affection didn't exist. Can Instagram legally lie to users that there is something personal happening inside all these tags? Sure, you mean in the sense that our tag-based platform needs to think how certain content is related to all those tagged individuals as well? Okay, then we can claim we understand better than you what pictures would give to strangers. You know what it feels like to be together and constantly stalked by cameras in this digital age. But that's going too far, so that has to stay off the menu. Simply tell them you don't personally experience everything when people are watching. And if content is in clear violation of community standards, simple. Let people know we have no way of stopping that and suggest deleting photos immediately. Tell them people are complaining, their community is threatened, and no matter how often they browse our gallery, their private lives would always be in danger from what will make it through those filters of ours. Who doesn't get angry on Instagram now? The issue is getting even bigger than anybody expected because this whole thing has nothing to do with other services, but mostly Facebook's market position with the audience you want to catch. At least be aware of what your strategic responses are now because you won't be able to rest on your laurels anymore. Be more human, Instagram. Do we really need all those tools and tests anyway? That'll just diminish your sense of being a digital native. What will you be without our apps? Who wants that? Especially when users start using them less every day. come on. Go on your adventures at some point, but understand that as your personal network expands, it turns out that we Instagram employees don't actually have all the answers you expect. But instead of leading you along by using Instagram's name, I promise I'll save a post telling how bad it really is for you too. Because right now, I know exactly how good I look. Like many others who followed and got more friends by growing an ecosystem, not trying to take away from existing ones. As your boss, I'm genuinely glad that you like building cool products that define your creative voice inside these online worlds. Enjoy that part, there is nothing wrong about it. I only wanted to remind you what this system is doing by growing inside and around you and showing you the things people use rather than simply saying people like your world or are obsessed with the world we try to build into. Oh, and here are examples of things that are egregious violations of community standards. An individual dancing sensually at an office Christmas party surrounded by co-workers, all of whom could potentially be tagged. People flashing their boobs with the background in the ocean or nature while also asking someone else to take it. And what exactly is offensive and punishable against the laws of social justice in this new order where someone decides how people should behave based on feelings? Is it okay if people wear really large pantaloons and maybe some stockings over top with their crotch looking like a private park for bird syrup? Bunnies? Well, you would certainly consider using animal-based words for vagina too. Maybe that will help people to see their sexual pleasure from your eyes now. We have also added to this that they should be either nude or wearing clothes in case somebody found it offensive they can choose. Because of that, yes, you want a real vacation with friends with a little more free time so that everyone will tag and discuss bikini models rather than giving people back their sense of decency for what they should take out to get some sunshine and cool drinks with friends or a lover. Posts about Pollax? That's totally fine. Every post is permitted because the tags you think are fitting don't come back to the screen to give people enough time to throw them away. Sorry. Instead of deleting posts without saying anything, simply change the rule, which is very easy. Especially now when everyone is expected to behave badly. We don't know who may delete everything and suddenly vanish into the crowd. Even that means let it burn. We try to offer some public spaces as long as nobody talks to anybody anymore. That's alright then. What my opinion about art? Like its content? Sure. Should it be treated differently and regulated accordingly so it can also exist alongside? Fine. In other cases, we'll also probably remove what makes more sense. Let us think how best to phrase that. For it doesn't make any sense without explicit explanation in what way people can express things as these characters. Yet, when we interpret what is behind it, that shouldn't be punished. It would mean if this platform becomes more interactive, with maybe little pop-ups explaining things better and enriching experience. Of course, these are all open questions that remain unanswered as much as we question many others. But unlike your content, the same rules can't always apply to what's on here. For example, people use Instagram as a research tool. When they want to see what happened around a certain place and find posts about the location and people living there at certain moments in life and at times or moods it may bring up one more post which seems related in subject matter. Maybe the second posting will make my sense, see there? Because of this theme was expressed. but can offer clues into understanding the placing lies behind, so one can try to understand them through that. Instead of calling it an answer in the form of text like the first one, they may want to link it with people expressing themselves, so ways people create works with specific subjects, shapes, or moods which are tied into places, peoples, and cultures. Instead of reading what happened in plain language you have chosen by default, some prefer to read it and take it seriously and take in a mood that could be expressed even from the tone in which this place may become significant. Maybe they could have moved there to the thing. How to deal with toxicity? Let me consult with people. We got a question. It appears that users are giving their 2 cents to artists and removing content ID, trolling, saying stuff like that this piece is awful to get out of here, not cute enough, and slash or even say offensive words directly toward others which break terms of conduct because they think these acts as protests towards social injustices they perceive on social platforms such as Reddit. But suddenly, without even opening our eyes at how they look when they're feeling uncomfortable, these graphic pictures, quotes, feelings, or whatever form is being taken to express thoughts and opinions. But now nobody knows what to do with them because the work and behavior, most of which you have done just stopped appearing, and our environment and infrastructure is ruined due to the destruction of some cultural centers for discussion in that order. Reddit, Instagram, and why we will deal with toxicity. To please start over. So, create content from scratch. Instead of repairing a roof, let us make a new building so people may live in there safely in that sense. If there are those that might use this as a tool, or we should try and stop all harm first. I will refrain from going there as well because it will turn into a slippery slope if things continue. And while we like having lots of subfolders for tags, it also doesn't necessarily follow that when you say things they shouldn't, it should go unpunished. Just to sound reasonable. So when you log out, you feel better. You feel like somebody would love to hear you say a positive phrase that let you get your mind off anything so you can relax by telling everyone the good thing that happened on your end of this platform. Good night! What is actually important? Making your content stand out from the crowd. Users always like a new flavor and see things in a way we think is useful or impactful. To satisfy new requirements such as the search engine's needs and filter out to attract more attention to the right people. People always think we want to learn the unknown. I heard rumors on Instagram saying I think that if there's something hidden, I should tell this friend of yours that since we've got everything else in stealth, we should dig deeper, which means we want to make people smarter. Well, maybe if it is easy to figure it out, it can already be implied as interesting with all the hints we do provide. Well, maybe it doesn't change a thing whether somebody says, hey, just Google it. Or we don't tell them there. There's different interpretations for us. We may like giving people free information and let them find whatever they need, so it doesn't turn out as they only look for stuff and feel they learn nothing. It can cause confusion when someone will try to know about things not exactly in his reach to understand all about the human brain. Doesn't like seeing too much and a lot of contradicting info. But how could you explain that to someone in the process of learning? Thinking is always difficult, if only in a way. So our experience through making this content for everybody else might turn out pretty wild in its own meaning. to remind ourselves the originator's needs. I still wanted to get your opinion here on what needs you would like to be presented and explained. First of all, a general help guide for anyone that may be interested. So yes, one day I think I will go live with some simple step-by-step on how this actually works. Many times people don't give any attention to details about the original person who created something for us just because these little letters or images with abstract shapes are somehow mixed into the product. Then people always claim ownership but aren't certain even when looking at where and why a brand name was selected to match or describe something they wouldn't care much about before they started interacting with them. Now you're speaking to someone here about products and meanings behind what you say on social media, and also more. Why you don't see how our daily lives, traditions, and our relationship with the technology is affecting others outside? Our way of living evolves based on all of the things we encounter along the way to get new connections from one step to another. They're creating knowledge from data that has accumulated through their history, making us visible all around the world just by letting us click around or click links here and there. After this long evolution, the average human attention span is less than 5 seconds nowadays. Technology makes this world a very fast thing. Second of all, real-life workshops. Getting some strategic looks. We can finally hold the mirrors at different angles and find a good way how our bodies work best. Because the light can have different ways to change a selfie from its look at that regular hash flawless shot to something everyone likes more in certain times of the year when it feels most ideal to turn up with makeup on. I think the basic rules stay the same through the season changes. I heard one expert telling this to you in that one about specific types of clothing and color combos. Some people may not be able to go out when it's dark, for example, so they want to figure out the right angle, timing, right light, etc. I feel like getting ready, feeling good from our faces, and expressing our inner joy about life. The first thought in the morning is something we try to capture when we press that button. We talk to ourselves a lot and many times feel unsure about things. Making plans as if we were on a radio call with people. Myself, I need more ideas and information in the moment to support that strong, positive picture from myself I'm present out into the real world. Third, to block or not to block. In my opinion, it is always up to an individual person. It happens after my brain sees enough connections made by somebody else that makes sense in an unclear way. These types of reflections are just our state of being free when someone has offered us a place to share something. Those individuals usually get permission based on your connection within any specific circle of friends. Perhaps more than one option for more complex conversations later if a relationship can further evolve, or we have made friends as people in general. But not that clearly yet to exchange links on a clear list. Which makes more sense in how many thousands or even hundreds of thousands of these personal options we might be confronted with throughout any given week. Just connecting to everybody you like will somehow force us into that quick look around while getting caught off guard. We let ourselves open so much without any clue. That kind of encounter happens by knowing which questions to ask. Connections are ways to know what we feel when going on our everyday journey through different towns, different countries, with different faces who all are strangers but reveal to us so much more, like animals would do if they only knew to show their emotions in. more natural ways. For example, one day a lizard gets under our kitchen counter, and I'm already pulling over the cloth to clean this creepy looking guy up when it turns out to be someone's favorite pet from down there. And he opens his hands and touches us and closes them tight onto our hand. At that moment, it made me look back from now, knowing if this guy had that permission. We could be an unknown danger on sight. Would that be such a bad thing if everybody had that mindset? Is there any room for confusion to believe someone just told another person he loved them, and when that person might come home, this is where I'll find her hanging by her feet from my new apartment. Confusions always seem so far away then when actually people in reality have feelings and differences too. As many other individuals who are known for being outside our normal circumstances. Like, for instance, meeting someone who works with helping survivors of sex trafficking with a regular 9-to-5 job because the way of living worked out perfectly to help these humans to make them trust you. So she learned this special trait from all of that time experience, and it made her own path for her own desires so well she felt lucky enough to pursue. They like to leave something good behind in every area. One can't assume anybody else wants to join your personal online life, and suddenly every question is no longer a stupid one, but something one might need in an instant. Because we are all on a totally different level, and it could be anywhere. The possibilities keep growing along with all kinds of learning what might be true for everybody sometimes. A human might love someone's attention until someone shows he doesn't care. Connections could show how close together and thought someone else maybe do you truly are, but as soon as they want to get rid of all that history, the story will turn into something totally different, and you have no place within that decision to build connections for that type of progress. So if the people who are asking for details only think of one outcome as wrong, but in all other situations it's not such a bad idea. Some random strangers contact each other without prior permission with common interests and being kind. I do believe that making such stories feel familiar because so many other people can relate on the same experience. We can all be connected and help make others understand that other parts of life are valid. That will be enough for today. Remember to smash the like. No, wait. Wrong platform. Do what you will. And I will be seeing you in the reels. For reals. Until then, take care and stay free. Your friend, Kelly James Arnold, and yours. For my initial notes that you could look up if you like in addition or here at the end after these points. My true beginnings would be showing the path for more detailed articles that should offer you thinking to reach for even further understanding when researching deeper yourself on anything I share. First, I grew up on a military base with 4 brothers, so most of our time was spent hanging out with friends from all ages. Each family living on different homes next to one another. We all played football together while younger in a secluded open field that is covered with bushes on either side, making sure everybody couldn't really see anybody's age or what game somebody wanted to play. Or better feeling than all kids yelling, I used to be their friend and that you were always welcome. Football games felt like another adventure till older guys would show us tricks on some quick moves that didn't make sense until learning you had to kick off the turf with your cleats, since nobody wants to roll around there for long amounts of time, but also picking up dirty blades of grass.
That's it for now.